Hey everybody, CoronaDiaries coming back at you from my office, not my home office, even though we're all supposed to be working at home and locked in. Um, there's nobody here and I just get more work done at the office. I don't have wife and kids and dog and everything running around. So, a couple of things on the diaries this week. One, found out a weird fact about myself that I never thought it was weird. I figured there was a lot of people like me, but apparently not. I have never had a cup of coffee. Don't I do a lot of this. That's my caffeine. So it's not like I don't. I'm against caffeine. I'm totally pro caffeine, and I actually love the smell of coffee. I grew up with a family that my parents drank coffee in the morning, so you'd wake up and you get that kind of aroma. But like the taste of it was never anything I liked, even with one drink. And people are like, "Oh, then you need to put mocha and sugar and milk and at that point it becomes like a hot chocolate. And I'm like, that's not coffee, and I don't want 1,000 calorie drink. So I drink Diet Dew, and it works out really well for me. So that was one strange fact. The other one is like, look at this crazy like a bad beard thing I have going on. It's like the stubble. I read an article that women find stubble attractive. So, just trying to keep my wife interested. So, kind of growing the stubble out in the corona world of not really having to impress anybody when I come to work because it's just me. Maybe I'll bring my dog. Sometimes I see some person walking down the street, but reality is that's all it is. Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the marketing of products and services during the biggest crisis of our lifetime, potentially. Let's hope, right, that this is the biggest crisis, kind of a lifetime, 100-year event, 200-year event, whatever that might be. Because I've seen both sides of it. I've seen my friends in marketing and that are running marketing for a lot of the tech companies in the HR and TA space who are trying to figure all of this out. How do we continue to get lead gen? How do we continue to sell our products to the buyer, HR, and TA, who right now are in the midst of just their organizations being on fire, having some really, really difficult conversations. And really, the noise is so deafening around all of that. Not only do we have to have these great kind of organizational strategy conversations, at the same time, I'm being told to work at home. Everyone's working at home. We have a couple people in the office, like who's essential, who's non essential. It's just mass, like kind of panic hysteria, craziness, crisis management. And oh, by the way, Timmy is trying to sell me his video interview software or his work from home solution, blah, blah, blah. I get it. You want to sell. It's the time. Like they need it. You think you can help. At the same time, so many of these solutions potentially right now can't help. And even if they could help, the noise is so deafening, it's not being heard. So then you have to go, well, wait a minute. As a marketer, am I wasting my resources and money and brand equity by trying to jam something down someone's throat who potentially is going to look at that and say you're cold and heartless? Um, at the same time, we got to keep selling. We got to keep doing stuff. There's a small fraction of organizations who are still hiring. In fact, there's some that are desperate to hire more. The vast majority are probably on a freeze or semi-freeze or a frost or whatever you want to call it. They're just like, wait a minute, circle the wagons. We just have to figure out what's going on. And what I'm saying is the marketing messages right now, if you're doing it, for the most part is just it's just adding to the noise and complexity of what's going on, and it's being missed and it's not being heard, and you're wasting your resources and your effort. Now, when do we turn it back on? It's a great question. I was actually having a conversation with a CMO from a really large technical recruiting technology this week, and she had said, you know what, we're probably going to sit tight till about June. Not for sure, but we want to make sure we save everything. We also want to make sure we're not coming across in a way that we shouldn't be. We understand that right now most organizations aren't out looking for a hiring solution, the vast majority. And so we're going to kind of hold our resources, and then when the time is right, people are willing to hear that message, then we're going to come out in a big way and actually, use those resources when we think it's more appropriate. I don't know, everyone's going to be different. You got to make up your own choice. Understand from a buyer perspective right now, if you're an HR leader professional, if you're a TA leader professional, the noise for them is deafening. Now, if you're not hiring a ton and you're in the TA world, great time to do some demo stuff and get ready for the backside. If you think about how recruiting might change if unemployment skyrockets, think about all of the assessment stuff, the matching stuff, the things where you go, wait a minute, I still want to make it super easy for people to apply and have this great candidate experience. On the flip side, I have to make sure out of all of that giant bubble of people that I'm going to get to apply to a thing, I need to make sure I pick out the right ones. I don't want to go old school 2008 and say filter, 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 and then it's just a survival of who can make it through my crappy process. Great process, great experience, but better matching, better assessment technology that actually gets us to the best candidate possible for the job is what I'm in a demo right now. So think about that as we're coming out of this. I hope everyone's keeping safe. Hope everybody out there is doing all they can to help everybody else. I will talk to you guys again next week.